Few names echo through history with the same power and notoriety as Genghis Khan. Born Temujin, he rose from obscurity to become one of the most influential figures in human history. His story is not just about bloodshed and conquest, but also ambition, strategy, and a ruthlessness that reshaped the world. Genghis Khan's empire, the largest contiguous land empire in history, stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Genghis Khan's conquests were driven by a desire to unite the nomadic tribes, secure trade routes, and establish a lasting peace, a Pax Mongolica. His military campaigns were marked by strategic brilliance and shocking brutality, adapting to the strengths and weaknesses of his enemies. His empire became a conduit for trade and cultural exchange, connecting East and West in ways that had profound consequences for centuries. Genghis Khan's military achievements often overshadow his genius as a strategist. He was a master of psychological warfare, understanding that sowing fear and discord among his enemies was often more effective than any sword. His scouts infiltrated enemy territory, gathering intelligence and spreading rumors to demoralize opponents. His reputation as a ruthless conqueror often led cities to capitulate out of fear rather than face the might of the Mongol horde. History is often a tapestry woven from fact and legend, and the tale of Genghis Khan is no exception. One such legend tells of how Genghis Khan, facing a particularly stubborn enemy, resorted to a most unusual tactic. He unleashed an army of cats. This story, though likely embellished over time, speaks to the Khan's willingness to embrace unorthodox methods to achieve his goals. To understand the context of Genghis Khan's alleged feline strategy, we must journey back to the 13th century, to a time when the Silk Road connected the empires of the East and West. Control of the Silk Road meant immense wealth and influence, much of which rested in the hands of the Khwarezmian Empire. This powerful empire, ruled by Shah Ala ad-Din Muhammad II, spanned a vast territory but was not without its internal struggles. The Shah's increasingly erratic and tyrannical rule created cracks in the empire's foundation, which Genghis Khan would expertly exploit. The Khwarezmian Empire had enjoyed a period of relative peace and prosperity under the reign of the Shah's predecessors. Shah Muhammad II, ascending to the throne in 1200, inherited a powerful but precarious legacy. His ambition was often overshadowed by his impulsiveness and cruelty, sowing seeds of resentment among his subjects. The Shah's underestimation of the Mongols would prove to be a fatal miscalculation. Amidst the rising tensions, the city of Volokhai became a focal point of conflict. Located in present-day Uzbekistan, Volokhai sat astride a vital trade route and had well-fortified defences. For Genghis Khan, its capture would secure a vital supply line and serve as a symbolic victory. The citizens of Volokhai, aware of the approaching Mongol threat, prepared for a siege, unaware of the Khan's unconventional plans. The Mongol horde descended upon Volokhai like a storm, their banners fluttering in the wind. The siege began with Mongol engineers employing a variety of siege weapons, but the defenders fought back with fierce determination. Days turned into nights, and still, Volokhai held strong, leading Genghis Khan to grow restless. It was during a strategy session that the legend of the Khan's feline strategy is said to have taken root. The young soldier's proposal to use cats as instruments of war seemed absurd, yet Genghis Khan was willing to listen. The soldier elaborated on how cats could infiltrate the city and sow fear and confusion among the defenders. He unveiled the most daring aspect of his proposal. The cats would be used as living incendiaries. Genghis Khan, ever the pragmatist, saw potential in the plan. The order went out, "Bring forth your cats." Mongol soldiers accustomed to wielding swords and arrows found themselves tasked with the unusual duty of feline requisition. The cats, those unwitting conscripts, were a motley crew, their eyes wide with confusion and apprehension. As the feline ranks swelled, a sense of anticipation and trepidation settled over the Mongol camp. Within the besieged city of Volokhai, life went on, the citizens clinging to the hope of eventual victory. They had grown accustomed to the rhythms of the siege, but this night was different. An eerie silence had descended upon the battlefield, breeding a sense of unease. The defenders of Volokhai could not have possibly imagined the unconventional weapon the Mongols were about to unleash. As the moon reached its zenith, casting long and eerie shadows across the battlefield, The Mongol soldiers, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of torches, prepared to unleash their unusual weapon. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of cats, their eyes wide with terror, were brought forth from their makeshift cages. Cloths soaked in oil, tied to their tails, were ignited, transforming the frightened felines into living torches. With a cacophony of hisses and yowls, the cats, driven by instinct and the searing pain, bolted from their captors, seeking refuge in the only place that offered even a semblance of safety, the city of Volohai. The defenders, caught completely off guard by this bizarre turn of events, watched in astonishment and growing horror as a wave of flaming cats surged towards their walls. The animals, their instincts overriding any fear of humans, poured through breaches in the defences, their blazing tails igniting anything flammable in their path. Panic spread through the city like wildfire. The defenders, their disciplined ranks broken by confusion and fear, found themselves battling not only the Mongols, but also a tide of terrified fire-wielding felines. The streets of Volohai, once bustling with life, became a chaotic inferno, the air thick with the smell of smoke, burning fur, and the screams of both men and beasts. The cats, those unwitting agents of destruction, had achieved what the Mongol siege weapons had failed to do. They had breached the defences of Volohai, not through brute force but through chaos and terror. The city, once a symbol of resilience and defiance, was now a raging inferno, its streets transformed into rivers of fire. Genghis Khan, observing the unfolding chaos from his command post, knew that the time was right to strike. With a roar that echoed across the battlefield, he unleashed his warriors, their curved swords gleaming in the firelight, their battle cries a terrifying symphony of death. The defenders of Volohai, their morale shattered, their ranks broken, fought bravely but in vain. Overwhelmed by the ferocity of the Mongol assault and the relentless advance of the flames, they were slowly but surely pushed back. The city, once their sanctuary, had become their tomb. As dawn broke, casting a blood-red glow over the smouldering ruins of Volohai, the Mongol victory was complete. The city, once a symbol of Khwarezmian strength, lay in ashes, a testament to the ruthlessness and strategic brilliance of Genghis Khan. The legend of the Khan's feline army, spread by both victors and vanquished, would echo through the ages. A chilling reminder that in the game of war, sometimes the most unexpected weapon can prove to be the most effective. Fact, fiction, or military ingenuity. The tale of Genghis Khan's use of cats to conquer Volohai, though a captivating story, is shrouded in uncertainty. Like many historical anecdotes, it exists in that nebulous realm between fact and legend, its veracity muddied by the passage of time and the tendency for stories to become embellished in the retelling. Some historians dismiss the story outright, citing a lack of conclusive evidence and pointing to the Khan's well-documented preference for more conventional siege tactics. They argue that the story, likely originating as a rumor or a piece of enemy propaganda, has been exaggerated over time, evolving from a minor incident involving a handful of animals into a full-blown feline assault. Others, while acknowledging the lack of definitive proof, suggest that the story, even if embellished, may contain a kernel of truth. They point to the Khan's willingness to embrace unconventional tactics, his understanding of the psychological impact of fear, and his reputation for using any means necessary to achieve victory. Whether the story of the feline siege is true in its entirety, or merely a product of historical hyperbole, it serves as a testament to the enduring fascination with Genghis Khan and the Mongol conquests. It reminds us that history is not always a neat and tidy narrative, but rather a tapestry woven from threads of fact, legend, and the enduring power of a good story, but on psychological warfare. Breaking the spirit of his enemies was crucial. The alleged cat strategy illustrates this. Hundreds of cats transformed into living torches surging towards the city would have been terrifying. Imagine the defenders already on edge, confronted with this bizarre spectacle. The primal fear of fire and the unsettling sight of cats as agents of chaos would have been deeply unsettling. Fear spreads like wildfire, undermining discipline and morale. Genghis Khan struck at the heart of Volohai's defense, the courage and resolve of its people. They introduced an element of unpredictable chaos into the defense of Volohai, disrupting the defenders' carefully laid plans and creating vulnerabilities that the Mongols could exploit. Imagine the scene on the walls. Archers, their arrows aimed at the enemy lines, suddenly find themselves dodging flaming projectiles that hiss and spit. Soldiers, tasked with pouring boiling oil on attackers, are distracted by burning cats scrambling along the ramparts. The carefully maintained order, essential for any successful defense, crumbles into chaos. This disruption would have had a cascading effect. Orders shouted over the din of battle would have been misheard or ignored. Units, their cohesion shattered, would have found themselves isolated and vulnerable. The defenders, their attention divided between the Mongol attackers and the fiery feline onslaught, would have been easy prey for the disciplined and ruthless Mongol warriors. The cats, in their terror and desperation, would have sought refuge in any opening they could find, squeezing through arrow slits, darting through tunnels, and even scaling the walls themselves. This unintended infiltration would have given the Mongols access to previously secure areas, allowing them to attack from unexpected angles and sow further confusion. Fire and fury amplifying the assault. While the cats themselves were not the primary weapon, their fiery rampage amplified the effectiveness of the Mongol assault. Volokhai, like many fortified cities of the time, was constructed largely from wood and other flammable materials. The cats, transformed into living torches, turned this to the Mongols' advantage. As the terrified animals raced through the city, their blazing tails ignited anything flammable in their path: wooden structures, stockpiles of supplies, even the very platforms on which the defenders stood. What had been a controlled defense, with fire used strategically against the attackers, descended into an uncontrolled inferno, consuming everything in its path. This widespread fire had multiple strategic benefits for the Mongols. It created smoke, obscuring the defenders' vision and making it difficult to coordinate their defense. It spread panic, forcing citizens to flee their homes, further disrupting the city's order. And most importantly, it weakened Volokhai's defenses, creating breaches in the walls and gates that Mongol soldiers could exploit. The fire, while undoubtedly causing suffering and destruction, must be viewed within the context of siege warfare at the time. Sieges were brutal affairs, often resulting in the deaths of thousands, if not tens of thousands, of civilians. A swift and decisive victory, even one achieved through unconventional means, was preferable to a protracted siege that would have resulted in even greater suffering. Beyond Volokhai, the ripple effect of unconventional tactics. Genghis Khan's success lay in his willingness to embrace the unexpected and use every tool at his disposal. His reputation for ruthlessness and unpredictability often led to enemy surrender without a fight. The rumor of the cat siege spread by merchants had a chilling effect. Other cities, hearing tales of Volokhai, were more inclined to negotiate. The psychological impact extended far beyond a single city. The story highlights Mongol adaptability and creative military strategy. The Genghis Khan's strategic palette beyond brute force. The legend of the flaming cats, apocryphal or not, tends to overshadow the true brilliance of Genghis Khan's military genius. It wasn't just about bizarre tactics. It was about a deep understanding of strategy, logistics, and the human psyche. He wielded unconventional warfare as one tool in a diverse arsenal, always adapting to his enemies and the terrain. His true genius lay in his ability to combine brute force with cunning strategy, diplomacy, and psychological warfare. He understood that true victory lay not just in crushing armies, but in breaking the enemy's will to fight, in sowing seeds of doubt and fear long before his horsemen thundered over the horizon. Genghis Khan was a master of logistics, ensuring his armies, though vast, could move with astonishing speed and agility across challenging terrain. He established a sophisticated courier system, allowing for rapid communication across his vast empire. He implemented a decimal system in his army, improving organization and command structure. He embraced new technologies, incorporating siege weaponry from China and Persia to break down even the most formidable fortifications. He understood the importance of intelligence gathering, sending spies and scouts ahead of his armies to gather information on enemy movements, terrain, and even local customs. He understood the power of propaganda and misinformation. His envoys would often exaggerate the size of his army, claiming it to be 10 times its actual size, a tactic designed to demoralize the enemy and encourage surrender without a fight. He exploited existing rivalries, turning kingdoms against each other and offering clemency to those who submitted willingly. His victories were often swift and brutal, designed to send a message. He made examples of those who resisted, while those who surrendered were often treated with surprising leniency, further encouraging others to lay down their arms. This calculated blend of terror and pragmatism played a crucial role in the rapid expansion of the Mongol Empire. His methods, though often considered barbaric by today's standards, were effective. Central to Genghis Khan's success was his army's remarkable adaptability and capacity for innovation. Unlike many armies of the time, the Mongols were not bound by tradition or rigid doctrine. They were pragmatic warriors, always willing to learn from their enemies, adopt new technologies, and adapt their tactics to the specific challenges of each campaign. They incorporated Chinese siege weaponry, Persian engineering skills, and even European military strategies into their arsenal. Their cavalry, renowned for its speed and agility, could swiftly transform into a disciplined infantry force when the situation demanded. This adaptability extended beyond the battlefield. Genghis Khan encouraged cultural exchange within his empire, recognizing that diversity, rather than being a weakness, could be a source of strength. He incorporated skilled artisans, scholars, and administrators from conquered territories into his administration, further strengthening his grip on power. This willingness to embrace new ideas, combined with their military prowess and strategic brilliance, made the Mongols a truly formidable force, capable of conquering and ruling over one of the largest empires in human history. Cats have held a unique place in human societies for millennia. Revered, feared, and often misunderstood, these enigmatic creatures have woven their way into our myths and daily lives. In ancient Egypt, cats were worshipped as deities, embodiments of the goddess Bastet. Their grace and mystery earned them a place of honor, pampered and adorned with jewels. The Romans valued cats for pest control, protecting grain stores and homes. In medieval Europe, cats were often associated with witchcraft and the occult. Despite persecution, cats have endured, winning over human hearts with their charm. All right, guys, if you made it this far, you officially know more about Genghis Khan's crazy cat tactics than most people on the planet. But there's still so much more to uncover about history's wildest moments. So make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because we've got even crazier stories coming up that you do not want to miss. And hey, if this video gets 1 million likes, I'll dress up as Genghis Khan and try out one of his strategies in real life. Don't just be a spectator, be a part of the adventure. Follow, subscribe, and drop a comment about what other epic moments you want me to cover next. Let's keep blowing up history together. Peace out.